intelligence. It is absolutely dull. We are seeing so many people leaving this world every day. All our forefathers and parents and grandparents, they are all left, but we cannot, accept this simple fact. So what we have to do in this human form of life, we have to gain those assets, we have to gain those merits which are immortal, which will continue with us when we leave this world. That is called wisdom, or that is called intelligence. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that any activity of devotion that you do, it is eternal. Neha abhikrama nasho asti. Nash, in this material world, everything is subject to deterioration, depletion and destruction. But there is one thing which is not subject to depletion and destruction, that is spiritual activity. Why? Because the living entity is spirit soul. So if we perform any activity which is on the level of spirit soul, it is eternal, because the soul is eternal. So in this month, if you just offer lamp to Krishna in his Damodar form, then you get a merit of performing Ashwamedh Yag. We cannot perform Ashwamedh Yag, it requires elaborate arrangement, it requires so much of resources, opulence, money. But just by offering the lamp, Krishna accepts this offering. So, my request to all of you, those who are present here, in this 30 days, now 30 is not left, how many are there? Including today is 28. 28 days are remaining, so don't miss any day. What you have to do, you have to just come here and offer one lamp. And believe me, we will not ask you any money. It is free. It is an opportunity of gift from us. So please do that. That is the first and the foremost thing, is to offer lamp. Second, if you really want to add more to it, you should sing. You should sing that song of Damodar Ashtakam. Beautiful song, it is mentioned here. You have printed it?
Yes, sir. It is laminated.
Okay, you laminated and you can put it in the WhatsApp group also. You can hear also. We all like music, isn't it? When we are in a good mood, in a jolly mood, what we like? We like to hear music and we want to dance also. That is an expression of joy. When the heart is gladdened, we all want to sing and dance. So sing and dance for the pleasure of Krishna this morning. Yeah? So that will enhance our devotion to Krishna. So you can sing Damodar Ashtakam. Better is if you every day read, in just 2-3 days you will be able to memorize this. And then you can sing on your own, or you can hear also. You can hear Sonika, she sings very well. She will sing today. She is gifted with a very sweet devotional voice. So all of us can please the Lord by singing Damodar Ashtakam. That is second. And the third part is that we can chant for Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because chanting is like getting the connection with Krishna. Like we have a SIM card, but we require a network. Our network was failing. Without the network, we cannot connect. So the living entity is spirit soul, and the Supreme Lord is the super soul. But there is network disconnection. So how do we connect? We connect through chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Simple, na? Mantra is not very complicated. It is simple. It is having only 3 words: Hare Krishna and Ram. But it has to be properly recited and heard. So at least spend 10 minutes. If you spend 10 minutes a day, you will be able to chant at least 1 round. Bare minimum is 1. Yeah. So at least do that. So that is the third recommendation. First is to offer lamp. Second is to sing Damodar Ashtakam. Third is to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Only do these 3 things. And fourth thing, if you want to extend, if you want to keep all these 3 intact, come and associate with devotees. If you associate with devotees, then it is possible that you will be doing all these 3 things. And if you go back to your worldly friends and worldly, social media, then there is all possibility you will be skipping. Yeah. So with this, I will, begin the Bhagavad Gita discussion. We are on the 7th chapter. Bhagavad Gita is classified into 18 chapters for our convenience. The author is Vyasadeva, who compiled this Bhagavad Gita. Although Bhagavad Gita is spoken as a free-flowing dialogue. Just here, relax, just here. Arjuna did not open any book. Did he open any book? Previously there were no books. Where was the content noted? In the heart, not in the mind. Mind keeps changing. don't rely on the mind. It entered through the ears into the region of the heart, and it stayed there forever. But that kind of purity we don't have now. This is the age of deterioration, Kali Yuga. So we should hear, try to hear. And Krishna is emphasizing on this chapter also, Tashunu. We offer everything to Krishna and eat. Then what happens is, this food becomes a miracle food. What is the miracle in the food? That it will connect us to Krishna. Simple. And Krishna says, when you offer anything to me, what I take away? I take away all the sins from it. Yagya Krishna Shina Shanto Uchyate Sarvakil Vishe. And if you don't offer to me and eat, then what you get? You get all the stockpiles of sins along with you, which comes along with it. So, Vyasadeva has divided this conversation of Krishna and Arjuna in 18 chapters for our easier understanding. And the first 6 chapters are speaking about predominantly the Jiva, who we are. First, Krishna speaks about ourselves, because our interest is only to know what is the benefit for us. So Krishna focuses on the first 6 chapters about who we are, that we are not inanimate objects. We are not the dull matter. We are not inert. We are antimatter. That is the soul, spirit soul, which is both beyond body and it is both beyond mind. So Krishna gives, okay, you want to come? Please come join here. Please come here.
You can sit here.
You can sit here? Yeah. Thank you. So Krishna first gives the comprehension and understanding to first know who the person is. Many times we have seen a person, he loses his memory. Then what is the situation? He is in a very precarious situation. Because if any person loses his identity, what he will do? Whatever he will do, don't keep it up with follow. Whatever he will do, it will not give him any benefit. So his memory has to come back. Many times we see in movies in particularly they show that the hero, a youngster, he loses his memory and he forgets who is his father, who is his mother, and so on and so forth. So that is the situation with all of us, because all of us are identifying ourselves with this body. But you see, if you take a simple test, is your body the same what it was 10 years back? Then are you the body? And will it remain the same 10 years henceforth? The body is constantly changing. There is moment to moment change in body. New cells are coming in and old cells are dying. And science says that after 7 years, the entire cycle is complete. So after every 7 years you have new body. But actually, Krishna tells that every moment the body is dying. So how can we identify with something which is ever changing? What is your name?
Initiated name or legal name?
Legal name?
Saurabh.
Saurabh. So Saurabh, what is your age? 20? 25. So now at 25, if I ask you, who are you? What you will say? You will say Saurabh.
Yeah.
I am Saurabh. 10 years back, if I asked you, who are you? What you will say?
Saurabh.
But are you the same Saurabh? What you were 10 years back?
Appearances.
Not only appearance has changed, the awareness has also changed, knowledge has also changed, everything has changed, isn't it? So how can we identify ourselves with the same thing which was what we are not? So the body is constantly changing, but the problem is we cannot experience the change, or we do not acknowledge the change. Or if we don't identify with body, then what do we identify with? We identify with our mind and intelligence, isn't it? And mind and intelligence is also constantly changing. So Krishna has explained in the Bhagavad Gita, this is what we have discussed so far in this chapter, that there are two elements. One is called the material element, it is called the phenomenal world, which is constantly changing. That is the nature of this material world, that everything here is constantly changing. It has 6 phases. It comes into inception, everything comes into inception, that is, there is birth, then there is growth, there is some development as we call it. Then there is some sustenance, it stays for some time. Then it gives some byproducts. And then it starts to dwindle and ultimately it dies. So 6 transformations or changes are there. This cyclical change is there in any and everything of this material world. Can you name anything which is beyond this? Have you experienced anything which is not within this cycle of birth and death? So everything which is changing, it is called the inferior nature. It is called apara prakriti. It is changing. It is inert. And how this transformation is happening? This transformation is happening because there is something which is animate in it. This is inanimate. Like you see, this matter. This is animate or inanimate?
Inanimate.
It is inanimate. It is lifeless. What gives life to it? When someone operates on it. So who operates? Someone which has life force. So that life force is the superior force. It is called the Paraprakriti. Krishna is explaining both types of energies. And this material world is the combination of both. Like this body. This body is, I am speaking and you are not hearing. And what is the force behind which is enabling me to speak? Is something which is beyond body, which is also beyond my subtle body. Subtle body has 3 elements, rather 4 elements. It is mind. Is it visible? Can anyone see the mind? But can we say seeing is believing? If we say seeing is believing, then we say we are mindless. Has any laboratory diagnosed where is the intelligence? The doctor says it is in the brain, somewhere in the brain. Many times people have coma. What does coma mean? Brain is dead. And anything which is dead, can it come to life? People come back to coma, recover from coma, and they become normal. So if the brain is in the head, and if the brain is dead, how can they revive? They cannot revive. So they are wrong. Because the intelligence is not in the brain. The intelligence is somewhere else, which science can never identify. It may look a little awkward, but this is a fact. Can the science identify where is the mind? The medical science or the technological science? No. They have no comprehension. Because these are subtle elements. Subtle means which is beyond gross. Gross is which is visible to our senses, that we can perceive through the senses. Anything which is beyond senses is incomprehensible. So mind, intelligence, and also there is another subtle element which is called false ego. False ego is the first covering on the soul. And this covering, what it does, it makes the soul identify with matter rather than with the spirit. That is why we all identify with matter, not with spirit, although we are spirit soul. So all these elements are 8. So Krishna explains in the 7th chapter when he is explaining the section of spiritual and material energy. So first Krishna says that I will reveal the full knowledge to you. In the 7th chapter he says, Jnanam teham sa vijnanam idam vakshyami yasheshata. So what is Jnanam? Jnanam is the phenomenal world. This phenomenal world is comprising of 5 gross elements. You all know the 5 gross elements? Earth, water, air, fire and ether. These are the 5 gross elements. Then there are the 5 sense objects. What are the 5 sense objects? Sense object, not the sense organ. Sense objects. Like the form. Form. We see. Eyes see the form. They are called the tanmatras. Then the sound. Sound. Now through the ears we are receptive to the sound. Ears hear. then
Smell.
smell, okay, then
Taste.
taste and touch.
Touch.
So this entire world, you can have this 5 gross elements are there and 5 sense objects are there. And with that we have 5 senses which gives us knowledge. Like eyes to see the form, ears to hear, nose to smell, tongue to taste and skin to touch. And apart from this, we have 5 working senses. Everyone, this is very uniformly bestowed to everyone. No one is denied. We have hands for working, we have legs for walking, we have tongue for talking, and there are genitals for reproduction, and there is anus for secretion of waste from the body. So how many elements? 5. So 5 gross, 5 sense objects, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and 5
Working senses.
working senses. Total how much?
20.
20. And there are 4 further elements which are subtle. What are the subtle elements? Mind, intelligence, ego, and also it is called the chitta or the consciousness. So this entire material creation is within this 24 elements. There is nothing which is beyond this. Even the subtle elements, the 4 elements which I spoke about, mind, intelligence, ego and the consciousness, or it is called technically chitta. It is not detectable by any scientist or any academician. This is a subtle science. But beyond this, the Krishna says that what was the 4th slok? Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha ahankar iti mayyam me bhinna prakriti ashada. So Krishna says these are my gross elements. I have given a little more detail on that. And then he says that apart from this, aparayam itastu anyam. This is what we discussed last time. That beyond this 24 elements, which are all material. Are you getting the hang of it? Just here. In one session you will gain so much which you might not be able to gain in so many other classes. That is the distinguished situation of the position of Bhagavad Gita. This one book excels the study of all the books of the world. And this is not my claim. This is the claim of many learned people, many great scientists. Even who is the greatest scientist so far in this planet Earth? Einstein. You see his remarks on Bhagavad Gita. Who is the greatest scientist of India so far? APJ Abdul Kalam. You see his remarks on Bhagavad Gita. But the problem with us is, even after they are speaking and they are, recommending, we are not able to connect. So Krishna says, aprayem tastu anyam vidhi prakriti me param. So these are the material gross elements which are inanimate, which are inferior. And there is another energy which is superior. And what is that superior energy? That is the living entity, Jiva Bhuta Mahabhava, the living entity. And what it is doing? It is trying to exploit this 24. This is exactly what we are doing. This is what the scientists do. What they do? They try to manipulate this 24 elements. That is why you call it research. What it means, research. It is already there. When Einstein got this, what is that? When the apple fall, what is called? Law of Newton. What is that law called?
Law of gravity.
Law of gravity. Were the apples not falling on the ground before that? Were they floating in the air? It was always fall. But he was the one who was able to detect it. Like there was this Columbus. Columbus one, he was asked, he was a very smart person. He was the one who found the route for India. He was the first one who found the route for US also. Before that it was an unexplored land. So, once he was challenged. He said that, okay, you have found India, you have found this, so what a big deal, we can also find. So he challenged everyone. He said, okay, do one thing. I am giving you an egg, make it stand. I am giving you an egg, make it stand on the table. Can anyone make the egg stand on the table? When everyone lost, he said, I'll make it stand. He boiled the egg, cut it, and made it snow. Simple. So this is called research. It is already established, but we have to have someone who has little intelligence to be able to detect it and apply it in his life. So simply Krishna is saying that aprayamitastu anyam. Anyam means there is another energy of mind which is superior. And what is that energy? Jiva Bhuta Mahabhava. It is the living entity. Who are the living entity? All of us. There are 8,400,000 species of living entity. And out of that, 400,000 are in this human form of life. How many? 400,000. And 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs. 100,000 nahi samajh mein aata. 400,000. Same thing. So 400,000 are in the human form of life. Just imagine. The nomenclature is the same. But where is the difference? Where is the difference?
Consciousness.
The consciousness. Chitta. The consciousness. So there are the degradation of humans in at least 400,000 levels. One may be below and the other may be in an elevated place. So it depends upon the awakening and awareness. So spiritual life is all about awakening and awareness and gradually progressing. That is what is the aim of life. That is where the adventure is. This is where one has to really make progress. Otherwise, whatever bank balance or whatever asset you possess, after 50 years or 70 years or 100 years, you will be kicked out and everything else will be enjoyed by someone else. That is a fact. You will not be able to utilize it any further. But this progression if you make, then you can reap the reward of living life to its full. So Krishna is saying that this is aprayamatastu anyam vidhi prakriti mepanam jiva bhuta mahabhaho. And what is the jiva doing? Jiva is ye idam dharite jagat. It is trying to exploit my lower nature. This is what everyone is trying. Why there is so much of disturbance in the universal balance? Because the human form of life is trying to exploit the material nature. So that is a serious problem of imbalance. Ye idam dharite jagat. So it is not new. It is happening since time immemorial. People were trying to do it in different form. There was the demons called Hiranyakashipu. He was so powerful that he could force the material nature, like in the winter he could have mangoes. He would force the season to change by his tapoban. And the scientists are doing the same thing in a different way. And now what Krishna will speak, that today's verse, I'll take the 7.6 also, and then he says that etad yonini bhutani sarvani iti upadharya. This was the last verse that we discussed in the previous class, that in both these nature, what are the two natures? You are hearing? The inferior, which is the material nature, which is inert, inanimate, lifeless. Yeah, please open the page for them. Page number for my book is 330. Yeah, please help them. Give them the first. We'll just connect with the 7.6. So you have understood. So Krishna is explaining. So Krishna is explaining the science about himself. This we are receiving the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. This chapter is called Knowledge of the Absolute. So how do we know the knowledge of the Absolute? When the knowledge is given by the Absolute himself. Otherwise it is impossible. So he is saying that there are two natures of mind. One is the inferior nature, which comprises of the gross material elements and the material nature, and the other is the living entity, which is the superior nature. And in the 6th he is giving the conclusion that both of it is coming from me. Sarvani iti upadharya. And aham krasnasya jagata, that he is the one who is the source of both. Both the material. Oh, welcome. After a long time. Welcome. Sit. You have some time? Okay. We'll offer lamp also. You can ask for. If you can kindly please shift a little further. This place is less and please remove all this. Next time. Hopefully next Saturday also I'll be coming. You organize, I'll come. I started very early today so that I don't get stuck in the traffic. So Krishna is saying, please here, don't leave it. Krishna is saying, please understand this 6th verse. That both of these nature, etat means both what Krishna has explained, para and apara, lower and superior nature. Krishna is the source of both. And he is creating it and he is saying, I am the source of both. I am Prabhava, Prabhava means the origin. And he says, I am also the Pralayas. Pralayas is the dissolution. So he is both the cause and effect. He is the origin, he is the source, and he is also the destroyer. But today's verse, Krishna will declare that he is also the maintainer. Krishna is also the maintainer. Okay. How is the maintainer? That he will explain very beautifully in this verse. You can recite and chant with me. Matta partaram na anyat.
Matta parataram namanyat.
Kashchidasti dhananjaya.
Kashchidasti dhananjaya.
Wait, sorry. Matta partaram na anyat.
Matta parataram namanyat.
Kinchidasti dhananjaya.
Kinchidasti dhananjaya.
Mai sarvam idam protam.
Mai sarvam idam protam.
Sutre manigana iva.
Sutre manigana iva.
Matta partaram nanya.
Matta parataram namanyat.
Kinchidasti dhananjaya.
Kinchidasti dhananjaya.
Mai sarvam idam protam.
Mai sarvam idam protam.
Sutre manigana iva.
Sutre manigana iva.
So Krishna will give an example to demonstrate how he is the maintainer of everyone. Both what he has explained. Krishna has, in the opening of the 2nd verse he said, Jnanam te ham savijnanam. I'll explain to you both knowledge and also the realization. So last time I explained, Krishna gives knowledge in the 7th and the 8th chapter. And he gives the realization in the 9th chapter. And in the 10th and 11th chapter he will give both. So here he is saying that how he is the maintainer. He has already explained, he is the origin and he is also the dissolution. So how is maintaining? So he said that although these both nature are coming from me, I am the source, I am the origin, I am the cause and I am the effect. So the first thing he declares that Matta partaram naanya. Matta means beyond me and parataram means which is higher or superior. Para means which is higher. So he said there is nothing in this creation which is higher to me. I'll give you an example. Like, there is a mobile phone. We use a mobile phone. The mobile phone has been created by someone. And what he can do? He keeps creating. Today is a model which is say S1. Tomorrow he can upgrade and make a model which is S4 or S5. Which is more important? The creator or the creation? Huh?
Creator.
You're not getting it? Yeah. I'll give you another example. Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, what is he known as? Missile man. Missile man. He made so many missiles program in India. So what is more important, the missile or the missile man? So simply, so the creator or the creation. So when we see this creation, which is so gigantic, which is so bewildering, and which is so expansive, so just think about the one who has created it. So he is giving this knowledge. So he says, Matta partaram nanyat. Any of thing which is created by me can never compare to me or can never be beyond me. So they will always be subordinate to me. You got the point? So similarly, so Krishna is not making any big claim. He is giving us the right knowledge. That Matta partaram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. So there is no truth which is superior to me, because Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. From him, he is the source of everyone and everything. He is the source of both material nature also, he is the source of spiritual being also. And how he maintains, how inconceivably he maintains, he says everything rests of me And he gives an example, a simile, that Sutre Mani Gana Iva. Like you are seeing that garland which is offered to Yashoda Damodar. So this garland, you see the beautiful garland on the necklace, how they are together, what is making them remain together? Thread. Can you see the thread? And if you remove the thread, what will happen? They will fall down. This is what he is saying here. Sutre Mani Ganaiva. Now see, you understood the verse to some extent? That O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth which is superior to me. Why? Because he is the creator, he is the maintainer, and he is the destroyer. Everything else is creation. So in any situation, creation cannot go beyond creator. It is well within the subordination of the creator. Everything rests upon me. That Krishna has explained, and he will explain further in the 9th chapter, that how everything rests upon him. As pearls are strung on a thread. So how everything is resting upon him? Like the pearls, actually it's a pearl. You see some pearls here on that necklace. So these pearls are resting on the thread. So similarly, as the pearls are strung on the thread. So Krishna is the maintainer of everyone and everything. When we come into the 15th chapter, Krishna will explain it very elaborately. How at the universal level, how at the cosmic level, how at the individual level, Krishna is maintaining anyone and everyone. Without his intervention or without his maintenance, nothing can sustain. No life force can sustain. But the problem is, the covering is so heavy. It is so thick and so dense that we cannot see. Like example is given here, very good example is given, like you cannot see the thread. Can you see the thread? But without the thread, there cannot be any pearls which can be strung. Okay. So Prabhupada says that there is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Absolute Truth is personal or impersonal. So this is also a very big deliberation or doubt in the heart of people and practitioners, that whether the Supreme Absolute is person or it is impersonal. You understand what is person and impersonal? Person means he has a personal form, and impersonal means which he is abstract, which there is no form. So this is a big confusion in the heart of most of the people. Most of the people are aligning towards impersonal form. Come here, Prince. जरा तुम भगवद गीता तो सुनते नहीं, भगवद गीता नहीं सुनते ना, पढ़ते भी नहीं पढ़ते तो पता कैसे चलेगा कि भगवान कौन है? You will never be able, because he is always there, invisible as the string. This is he is explaining here. We say we do not have knowledge about the Lord. How we will have the knowledge about the Lord? Because when he is revealing himself, we are not interested. So there is the controversy, Prabhupada says, that whether the Supreme is personal or he is impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Supreme Absolute Truth is the personality of Godhead. Here Krishna confirms that there is nothing which is higher or superior to him. His impersonal form is below him. The personal form is the highest manifestation of the Supreme Absolute. Like you have currency, no? In India we have, size is different. If you see the American dollar, how many of you have seen the American dollar? No? I use it much. So the $1 denomination, the size and the color, everything is exactly the same. The $5, the $10, $20, $50, $100, exactly the same. Only the number is different. Exactly the same. So the $100 note or currency note, it already has value of 1, 2, 5, 10, 50, isn't it? If you have $100, you can buy anything of $2, $5, $10, $50, isn't it? But if you have $5, can you buy anything beyond 5? The That is what the impersonal part is. Impersonal part is the partial manifestation. It is not the full manifestation, it is the partial manifestation. So here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is confirming this. Very clearly Krishna is confirming that his personal form is the supreme absolute truth. Matta partaram nanya. There is nothing which is superior to him. Neither the impersonal form, neither the super soul. Both are subordinate to him. Sri Krishna, that the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person. So Krishna is a person. Like you see the government is the impersonal form. When we say the government, there is no form. But is it run by the impersonalist? There is the president, there is the prime minister, there is a council of ministers. So it is the persons who make the function happen. Even the machine is working. If we see the machine, we see the plane flying. From an outside view, the child may say that, look at this machine, how miraculously it is flying. But inside there are pilots. Do we see the pilots when we see the objects? No. When the car is running, many times the robot is running the car. But behind the robot there is a man who is making the machine. So it is the form of the object which is coming. Behind the form and the object there is a person. So here is the supreme person, the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the personality of Godhead is the absolute truth, as is the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. So Prabhupada is giving, our Panditacharya is giving many confirmations or many pramanas. Pramanas, what do you say?
Evidence.
Evidences, yes. He is giving many evidences from the personalities who are very highly elevated, like Brahmaji. Brahmaji is the chief engineer of this entire universe. No one has such intelligence as Brahmaji. If Mr. APJ made some missile, we call him, the genius. But think about the person who has made the planet Earth, which is rotating in his axis. Since what time? Since what time? And where is the fuel coming? Where is the fuel coming to rotate? Fuel is required or not? If the man makes any machine, if the fuel runs out, it lands or it collapses. But what about this fuel? Krishna says, Gam avishya cha bhutani, sarvani iti upatari. Krishna enters into each planet and it makes it rotate. That force is Krishna. So here it is said that Ishvara, so Brahmaji is giving this conclusion, the evidence that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. That Ishvara means one who is the Supreme Lord, is Paramaha Krishna. Parama means the highest form, is Krishna. And is Sachidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means the personification. The Sat means which is eternal, and Chit means which is full of knowledge, and Anand means which is full of bliss. This is what the living entity is aspiring. It wants to lead a life which is eternal. Anyone wants to die? No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live forever. That is the nature of the spirit soul. And everyone wants to be in knowledge. Which knowledge? Knowledge of one's identity, its relation with the Supreme Lord, and its nature of the material universe. Three things. If we know this knowledge of who we are, what this material nature is, and who the Supreme Lord is. If these three things is known, there is nothing in this world to know. But to know these three things, it is very rare. In the third verse, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchid yadati chid. Out of millions and millions, there will be only few who will aspire to know this. And out of those who will aspire, there will be hardly one who will actually know it. But those who follow Krishna, they can easily know it. So Brahmaji is saying that the Sachidananda Vigraha is Krishna. That is the Supreme Absolute Truth Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord. Primeval Lord means he is the first one. He is the prime, from whom everything else has emanated. He is the source, he is the foundation, he is the origin. Like Krishna is declaring here. the reservoir of all pleasure Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge, these authority leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. So many times, there are many people, many sections of so-called spiritualists who still claim that the impersonal form is higher than the personal form. It is not the case. I give you some simple example of government. Although the government is impersonal, but it is run by the person. Even the most dictatorship government, there is one person behind it, or a group of persons behind it. So similarly, the impersonal form is the manifestation of the partial manifestation of the Supreme Absolute. Like some people say, light is God. Have you heard? When people say, or Surya Narayan. Of course, from Surya comes the light. But is Surya light? No. Surya has one energy. The sun has one energy, which is light. The Surya does not give heat. It gives heat also. Is Surya heat? No. Surya has one feature, which is heat also. And the sun is distinct from both. He is the source, he is the origin of both. But he is distinct from both. His characteristic is, light and heat. Similarly, the Supreme Lord manifests in three forms. In his personal form, which is the most confidential and more complete. Then, the second manifestation is in the form of Super Soul. He is present in the heart of each and every living entity. Not only in the human form of life. Each and every living entity. He may be in any species of life. He may be a microbe. But the Supreme Lord is there in his heart also. That is the Super Soul. And the third is the impersonal form. That is the third, which is the lower rung of the ladder. So, Prabhupada is explaining here, but many of the followers of the spiritual path, because they have not read Gita themselves, or they have not been trained properly in Gita, they accept that the impersonal form is the highest form, which is incomplete. So here, Krishna is himself explaining and Prabhupada is detailing it, that the impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of Vedic version given in the Shweta Upanishad, Tato yat uttarataram tad arupam anamayam yo etad vidur amritas te bhavanti athetara dukkham evapiyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme among the demigods, human beings and the lower animals. Of course, amongst all these species of life, the most evolved personality is Brahma, because he is the sub-creator, he is the universal in charge. But beyond Brahma, there is transcendence, who has no material form and is free from all material contamination. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental. So Brahma is also within this material universe. And you can offer lamp, Haribol. If you want to offer, you can offer lamp. Pick a lamp from here, wash your hand, pick a lamp and offer to Yashoda Damodar. And you can leave. So as we were explaining, so Brahma is also manipulating within this 24 elements. He is creating everything, but it is within the 24 elements. He cannot create the living entity. Living entity creation is done by the Supreme Lord. Like the child comes into the womb of the mother. When it comes into the womb of the mother, the body starts to grow. But without the contact of the father, mother cannot conceive the child. So the spirit soul is injected and then it grows. So similarly, Brahmaji is authorized to play with this 24 elements and make this creation happen. You getting my point? So is everyone trying to do in this material world. Any manufacturer, any scientist, or any innovator, or any inventionist, what they are doing, they are just playing with this 24 elements, which is inanimate. So here it is said that the Brahma is also within this material universe, and beyond Brahma starts the transcendence. Transcendence is which is beyond matter, which is spirit, which is spiritual realm. The impersonalists put more stress on the word arupa. Arupa means which has no form. We say rupam, na? Rupa means form. And arupa means which does not have form. But arupam is not impersonal. Arupa means which does not have any material. Material form means it will have an inception, beginning, birth, and those 6 phases, and it will die. The Supreme Lord's form is not like our form. So he is not like our form. So he is arupa. He is not similar to our form. You understand this point? So this is a deeper understanding. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss and knowledge as described. So we have already discussed that Ishvara Parma Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha. His body is not made of matter like us. His body is made of Sachidananda. So he is spiritual. Other verses in Shveta Upanishad substantiate this as follows. So Prabhupada is giving further evidences that Vedaham etan purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamsa parastat tame viditvati mrityumeti nanya pantha vidyate anyanya yasmat panam na panam asti kinchit yasma naniyo no jayo asti kinchit vrikaiva stabdo divitishtati ekas tenedam purusham purushena sarvam. So these are further elaborations from the various scriptures which say that I know the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is transcendental to material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. So another very spectacular part about knowing Krishna is that whoever knows Krishna, then he is free from the cycle of birth and death. Krishna has already declared that in the 4th chapter that what is the word? Janma karma cha me divyam. Krishna's appearance and Krishna's activity are both transient. Divyam. It is not on the material plane. Material plane, whatever we do, it brings a reaction. Any action has a counter reaction. So Krishna's activities are transcendental. Both his birth, his appearance is like the sun. Like the sun appears. Every day sun appears, na? Do we say the sun has taken birth? And the sun disappears? Do we say that the sun has died? No. But the human race, the person takes birth and he dies. And next day can we see him? No. If he is gone, he is gone. That body is perished forever. So here, it is said that who knows Krishna, he can also transcend the bond of birth and death. There is no way of liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. So if one wants to be liberated from the cycle of birth and death, what one has to do? Very important. Please note what Prabhupada is saying. All the devotees who are practicing, please note. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of the Supreme Person. If you don't know Bhagavad Gita, if you have not understood the principles and not applied in your life, there is no question of liberation for anyone. Repeatedly you will be encircled in the cycle of birth and death. So don't take it cheaply. So many years I am stressing that please become serious in studying of Bhagavad Gita. You have noted it? Please mark it. There is no other way for liberation. So this knowledge is required. What is the knowledge? Knowledge of the Supreme, knowledge of the Absolute. And how to know this knowledge? When we study from the Supreme Himself. So there is no book in this world which can be compared to Bhagavad Gita. Because there is Supreme Absolute Truth is only one. And He is revealing this knowledge. So that is why Krishna is saying there is no truth superior than the Supreme Person because He is the supermost. Another feature of the Supreme is that He is the greatest of the greatest, He is the mightiest of the mightiest, and He is also the smaller of the smallest. So everything coexists with Him simultaneously. He is the smaller than the smallest. When we come to the 8th chapter, He will explain. Kavim Puranam Manushashitaram Anor Aniyar Anusmaretsa Sarvasya Dhata Ramachinta Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. Which verse is this? 8th chapter? 8th chapter, which verse is this? After so many years of study, it should be very clear. Principles should be very clear so that there is no confusion in life. Why confusion is there? Why clarity is not there? Because principles have not entered the heart. It is remaining in the book. Most of us, it remains intact in Bhagavad Gita as it is here. It is here in the book. It does not enter here. then you don't take advantage of it. So he is the smaller than the smallest, he is the greater than the greatest, and he is situated as a silent tree. Where? Inside the heart. Inside the heart is the soul, and inside the heart, along with the soul, is the super soul. An example is given, like you see two birds sitting on a tree. Have you seen a tree where there are many birds sitting? So on the branch of a tree, there are two birds sitting. And one is the living entity, the Jiva, and the other is the super soul, Paramatma. So in every species of life, in every form of life, the soul and the super soul are together. There is no one as close to us or will ever be than the super soul. He is the closest to us inside our heart. But the point and the problem is that we do not know him and we have not made any connection with him. And very rarely he speaks. That is what we say ना? हाँ, हमारे अंतःकरण से कुछ आवाज आई, मत करो. But what we say? Just shut up. Let me do what I want. Who are you to tell me? And what to do? What to do? He is just waiting. When this fellow will open his eyes. When he can see inside. Everyone is trying to find happiness outside. In the material objects. These are all dead objects. How can there be any pleasure in them? But the point is, the journey from within has not begun. So Bhagavad Gita gives us the vision and the access to begin the real journey of unexplored self. So he is situated as a silent tree and he illuminates the transcendental sky as the tree spreads its root. He spreads his extensive energy. So he is explained how he is spread, and then he will give a very graphic representation. And next time we will take that. How to be able to see the existence of the Supreme Lord in everything he has created. He has already said that he is earth, water, fire. So in that earth and in that water and in that fire, how he is the active ingredient or he is the active principle, that he will explain from the end. Very interesting. Bhagavad Gita is the most interesting book. It is the most adventurous book. I have been reading it for last 21 years. And every day I find new insights, a new understanding. And there is no book which can be compared to this book. It has such a depth that ocean will become, like a palm. That much is the depth in Bhagavad. And it expands. As the awareness uplifts, it expands. Then one is able to see what Krishna is speaking. So here, we will conclude here. From these verses one can conclude that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all pervading by his multi-energy. So Krishna is all pervading. We say na, God is omnipotent, he is omniscient, and he is omnipresent. So how is omnipresent? He is omnipresent by his energies. What are these energies? That we will discuss next time. How to be able to see the Supreme Lord manifested in this entire creation. That vision Krishna will give from the next verses, from 8th till 12th. That we will discuss next time. So please come next time. Now we will offer lamp and Sonika will sing down the rest to come. Before I conclude, is there any question or any challenge or any deliberation? Please ask. Anything if you have not understood or anything which feels any confusion or difficulty with you, please feel free to ask.
Sir, my question is that when to read Bhagavad Gita, like there is any restriction upon that? Any time?
When do you need to breathe? When do you need to breathe?
Yeah, always read.
So we are not having this knowledge. And because of ignorance, because of not having this knowledge, we are so much suffering. When do you want to get relief?
Pardon, sir?
When do you want to get relief from the suffering?
I always want to get relief.
There is no time distinction. The problem is our awakening, our awareness is not happening. The covering is so dense and so thick that we are completely blinded by this curtain of illusion. And we are just, losing this opportunity. We are so foolish. We are just running after fast things. We are seeing that with this so-called economical advancement or technological advancement, what is the situation of the human being? What is his peace of mind index now? What is his happiness index now? What it was 50 years back when all these things were not there. Because then there was an opportunity to actually inquire. Human life begins when there is an inquiry as to who am I and what is the purpose of my life. Does this question come in our heart? We are busy eating, sleeping, mating and defending, like all the other species of life are doing. How can we say we are developed? In what way we are developed? So Bhagavad Gita has to be read when the urgency. I'll show you something. You open Bhagavad Gita and you see page number 6. Just see this second paragraph. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? What is the time? I will not cross 9. Huh? Jali, quickly, because I have to offer Deepdan also and give also. Page number 6, Baba. Page number 6 of the introduction. You got it? Read just what is this Bhagavad Gita. You got the paragraph? Read. Read, please hear. Those who have not got it, just hear. Bhagavad Gita is to be heard. Arjuna just heard it. Okay, let him do it. Don't need. Did I ask you? My voice is reaching all of you. Read loudly, everyone will hear. Haribol, what's your name?
Me, sir.
Yeah, you read, everybody is going to be benefited by your reading.
Just what is Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the necessities of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways. As Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence.
Yeah, as I explained, what is the non-existence? Body is going to perish. And we are identifying ourselves with the body. The body is non-existent. Before birth, was it existing? Before this birth, was it existing?
No.
And after we leave this world, will it exist? So our existence is threatened by non-existence. Go further.
Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence.
Yeah.
Our existence is eternal, but somehow or other we are put into
Asat. Asat means which is not Sat.
wrong.
Yeah.
Asat refers to that which does not exist.
Yeah. Now comes the point. I have just given you the foundation.
Out of so many human beings,
Now hear very attentively. Please hear.
out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position.
Suffering is there for everyone. Birth, death, old age and disease. Is it for few and not for others? It is uniform for everyone. So Prabhupada is saying, so out of many suffering human beings who are suffering, there are few who are actually inquiring about their position. Then read further.
As to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position and so on. Unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he doesn't want suffering but rather wants to make a solution to all suffering, then one is not to be considered a perfect
Considered
human.
a perfect. If one does not come to this stage that he is not in लैंप ऑफर करके जाओ और प्रसाद लेके जाना. ओह निजामुद्दीन तो अरे मैं तुम्हें छोड़ दूंगा ना. बैठो तुम्हारा टाइम बच गया. बैठो तुम्हारी ट्रेन नहीं छूटेगी, चिंता मत करो.
Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind.
Yes, this is the point. So we may have the human form of life, but we have not come to the platform of human being. Okay, read further.
In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma
Jigyasa.
Jigyasa.
So the human form of life is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. We are having many inquiries. We are having many inquiries. What is the cost of iPhone? What is the cost of iTab or this tab, this new model car or that model car or this apartment? But that inquiry is all useless. They will all remain here, all waste. It has nothing to do with spirit. If I buy a Rolex watch and wear here, will the time change? I have come with a Maruti car. If I have a Mercedes, will the distance change? Your Nizamuddin will remain the same distance. This is waste of human intelligence. Read further.
Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the Absolute.
Every activity of the human is considered to be a failure because he will be subject to death. But human being is not meant to face death. He has to come to realize that he is deathless. If that realization is not done in this life, then human life has gone waste. It is a failure. That is the purpose of human life. To come to realize that we are immortal. Not just information, but realization. Realization is important. So that Bhagavad Gita is for. Okay, read just two, 3 lines.
Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they came from and where they shall go after death are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, this is it. So that is why we will have very few students in this forum. We will not have many students because most of the people are interested in eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Their consciousness is still covered. And they are happy with, like an animal. An animal, you give him little grass and take him to the slaughterhouse. He will be happy in the slaughterhouse also because he will be more absorbed in eating. Are we not in the slaughterhouse? Do we know what will be our final day? Everyone is going to be slaughtered here. Every one of us is going to be slaughtered. But before we leave this body, if you do not realize who we are, then human life has gone complete waste. You may boast to be whoever. So that is for the this is for the awakened people. If awakening is there, how to become awakened? Hear Bhagavad Gita. Associate with those who are applying Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So in this one session, I hope there was sufficient inspiration for you to take this seriously in this life. And what is the exchange? Do we ask any money from you? Do we ask you to give something to us? We rather say whatever we have, you take. But still, believe me, it will be very, very difficult to come back. Why? Because this veil of illusion is so thick and heavy. If there would be a non-veg party and a drinks party, line will be still outside. But giving this knowledge, this most valuable thing, hardly possible. I am surprised today so many are there. It is a rare. It is once in a year kind of a gathering in a year. Right? But please do come. Gather at least devote 1 or 2 hours in a week to know who we are and what is the purpose of our life. Thank you all very much for coming and patiently hearing. And I pray to Radha Damodar that he inspires you to take to eternal life. Now when we have come in this human form of life, we should not die. This is what Bhagavad Gita means. We should come to realize we are beyond this body. And we are also beyond the mind. It gives us the most, suffering. Does anyone else give us the most suffering? Our mind is the main, culprit. But the problem is we are identifying with it. So we are suffering. So what we have to come to the realization that we are beyond both. Okay, thank you all very much. Please start Damodar Ashtakam. We'll offer lamp and we will leave. And you all please have dinner. And you pack for yourself. Where is that boy? You ask someone to pack for him. You are from Noida? I'm from संजय मैं उधर बहुत जाता हूँ कृष्ण प्रभु से तो मेरी बहुत ही अच्छी घनिष्ठ मित्र है सालों से मुरली कृष्ण प्रभु से भी आपने कभी नहीं सुनी आ गया आप जाते नहीं
श्री श्री दामोदर अष्टकम की जय। नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं यशोदाभियो लोकनाथवमानं परामिष्टमत्यं ततोऽधुते हृदन्तमोहृदिप्रयुग्मं विजन्तम् पराम्बुजयुग्मेन वस्तुधाम ने स्फुरदिधाम ने तदीयोदारायात्र विश्वासधाम नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो दन्तरीयाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो दन्तरीयाय देवाय तुभ्यं हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
श्री श्री यशोदा दामोदर जी की कार्तिक महामहोत्सव की श्री दीपदान महामहोत्सव की उपस्थित सभी भक्तवृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Please have to come back Saturday also. And I can, I told you, we are having a yatra. That poster is there from birth to fame. If you come for 3 days, you will feel a real, life experience of what is going on.